4. Before that I thought there were enough surprises for a night. Natalie, however, proved me wrong. Preparing to go outside, she put shoes on. Not just shoes, but shoes with the capital S, the nice, red leather shoes with 6-inch high stiletto heels. Then she opened the door, which was up to her armpit now, waved to Katie and me, folded in half and squeezed outside. Immediately an image came to my mind, the one from an hour or so ago, when I was standing at that very door with my arms extended up in order to be holding the crossbar. It should be as high as 6 feet 7 or even 8, and it was at the level of Natalie's armpit. Yeah, well. My calculations were interrupted by Katie. When all except the two of us left the room, she came closer to me, and I caught myself considering her short. Yes, I still was forced to crane my neck to look at her eyes, and she still was the same tall Katie, yet for some reason I was struggling not to call her shorty. Trying hard to avoid that, I started speaking about something else, asking whether she'd mind if we sit down, since I felt a bit tired of staring up all afternoon long. Not at all, she giggled. Well, how do you find Nata and all? She asked once on the sofa. Everything's fine. Everybody's nice and kind, and... I paused and unexpectedly, even for myself, added, and tall. Everyone. Natalie included. Hey, you've noticed, haven't you? She smiled. You know, we used to be very close, lived next door, and even played volleyball together. But I remember her a little shorter. Actually shorter than myself. About a year ago her parents moved out of town, and I haven't seen her since. Katie, I gained all my courage. Why? Why Alex doesn't dance with Natalie? Why should he? You know, I thought they're a couple. I lightened a cigarette. Oh, did you? Katie laughed out loudly. Afraid, I must disappoint you, they are not. Alex's girlfriend is Sarah. Sarah? Well, I see the reason for you to think the way you do. The height thing, isn't it? But as far as I remember, Nata has never liked tall guys. She used to find them too selfish. Besides, Katie smiled again, there was never a guy tall enough for any of us around, let alone with her new height. She swallowed the cocktail and added, of course, it's been quite a while since we were close friends with her, but I doubt her preferences have changed much since then. At least, she added laughing, not as much as her height has anyways. So, she declared, looking me straight into the eyes, she's free. Single. And she likes you, Nick, I can see that. Don't be afraid of her. She doesn't bite. Should I say more? It took me few seconds to contemplate of what I've just heard. Natalie likes me, odd, I'm up to her chest at best. I like her, even odder, I've never liked tall chicks, and she's the tallest of the tallest. What's next? I wondered. The small backyard was a sight of fiesta. Barbecue, music, laughter. Seeing me coming out of the house, Natalie waved her hand and pointed at a stool next to her. Even sitting down I felt like a dwarf, her knees alone, although she was on heels, were more than a foot higher than mine. I asked her whether she fancied another a dance, but she shook her head and pointed at her shoes. Fair enough, not the best footwear for moving on the grass. So we just chatted and enjoyed the company of each other. I learnt a bit about her. She's 19, same as Katie, 8 years younger than me. Lives with parents in a town 150 miles away. Studies pharmacology and came here for a holiday to see her friends. And she did indeed recently experienced a growth spurt and added another 8 inches to her already outstanding height, so now she stood a whooping 7 feet and 6 inches barefoot. And, she added, she was hoping very much that her growth has stopped for good. She was nice and intelligent, and a little shy. People always stare at me as if I was a freak or something, she said. You're not a freak, believe me, replied I passionately. People just stare at you because your height is truly amazing. I mean in the best meaning of the word. And, it certainly is a merit outlining your beauty. You're so gorgeous and so feminine. I surprised myself when I realized a moment later that those were not just words of politeness. What was that then? I had never been attracted to a taller girl before. Maybe the answer was, Natalie is not a tall girl, she's beyond tall. And yes, absolutely beautiful, if, that is, you're lucky enough to look closely at her face. Thank you, you're so kind, she said. And Katie intervened again. Well guys, time to play. Would everybody come to the table please? Evidently, she was born to grow, and boy did she grow, and become a dialogue breaker, I thought to myself as I was following the others gathering around the patio table with 6 huge candles burned at the edges. Max turned off all lamps, and the table became the only bright spot in the garden surrounded by dark bushes and trees.